Hello and welcome back to CEO.CA's Inside the Boardroom. My name is James Patton and today I'm joined by Richard Drechsler, President, CEO and Director of Trifecta Gold. They trade on the Venture Exchange under the ticker TG and the OTCQB under the ticker TRRFF. Richard, great to see you today.
Thanks for having me today, James.
So let's kick things off. Can you give us a brief rundown of the company, maybe the elevator pitch?
Yeah, sure. Trifecta Gold, we're an exploration stage company. We're focused on discovering high-grade gold assets in Tier 1 jurisdictions. So we've got some projects in Yukon and in Nevada, and we're currently drilling or preparing to be drilling our Mt Hinton project up in the Yukon.
Great. So we're going to talk about that Mt Hinton project in just a moment, but maybe if you could give us an overview of the team at Trifecta, what's some of your experience in the mining industry and who else is on board?
Yeah, so that's really important to sort of the formation of Trifecta. I've worked in the Yukon since about 2006. Our team is largely comes from the Archer Catherine Associates Group. They're a leading consultant for geologic exploration. They've been based in Yukon since the 60s. So a lot of the people that are on my advisory committee or sort of in the background have been part of that team. My VP that just joined is a former partner of Archer Catherine. A number of the advisors on our technical advisory board are either former partners of Archer Catherine or current members of Archer Catherine. So we rely on them quite heavily for our geologic talent. That team is responsible for the discovery of both of the highest grade gold deposits ever found in Yukon that are over 1 million ounces, as well as the largest copper deposit. So we've got a team that's found many deposits up there before, and we're looking to do it again with Trifecta.
Great, and you announced recently the acquisition of the Mt Hinton silver gold project. Can you walk us through that deal? How did it come about, and what's the potential that you see in this project?
Yeah, so I guess a little bit more background is probably required. I'm also a VP with Strategic Metals, so they're a leading Yukon project generator. So this was a project that was within Strategic's portfolio, and we actually drill tested it with Strategic Metals in 2020. Got some really good results, and right away the project was out under option to another party. And unfortunately, we got into the 2020 lockdowns and whatnot, and the company wasn't able to perform. The project came back to Strategic. And then as gold prices started to run here in December, I went to Doug and said, look, this project's too good for it to be sitting on the shelf when we've got gold prices going to all-time highs. Let's find a way to vend this into Trifecta, where I'm the CEO. We formed Trifecta as a spin-out from Strategic Metals a few years back. And so the idea behind Trifecta Gold is to take these targets from project generators we work with that are basically set up to drill off the initial resources and really make that discovery. And we see that in this sector, that's typically where you get the most value creation, is where you go from sort of a greenfields asset where, the market's valuing you as a shell. You make that major discovery, you demonstrate there's multi-million ounce potential, and that's where you get the huge re-rate in the stock. And Mt Hinton seemed like the perfect project for us to do that with. We're road accessible, right adjacent to Hecla's mill. And we've got some really great drill results historically from the project. So we're looking forward to getting out there and hitting it aggressively with the exploration campaign this summer.
Yeah, let's talk a bit more about that exploration campaign. Can you tell us what the timelines are and what the goals you're hoping to achieve this year?
Yeah, so as part of the deal with Strategic, we've got to spend $6 million on exploration over the first 4 years of the option in order to get up to a 70% interest. At that point, we can get to 100% by making a 10% share issuance to Strategic. So basically, the deal's lined up, so it's fully in line with Trifecta shareholders. So Strategic will win when Trifecta shareholders win. And so as part of that first phase program that we're doing this year, we have crews doing some additional mapping on Hinton, but we're also following up on some of the really good drill results that we had from 2020. So currently dragging a drill out to the southwest zone where we have a very large vein. You can pick it out on Google Earth easily for traced over multiple kilometers or over a kilometer. And there we have a couple of drill intersects from 2020 that are in the 9 to 12 meter ranges of, 5 gram plus gold equivalent, up to 7 grams gold. We've chip sampled that structure along surface, have a lot of assays that are in the hundreds of grams gold from there. So some really bonanza grade results have come out of that vein. We're finding visible gold in a lot of these structures. And then our next target, once we drill the southwest zone, we'll go over to the number 5 vein, which was one that was discovered by United Keno Hill Mines, the previous owners of the mines that Hecla now owns. And they found the number 5 vein in the 80s. They drilled it, got some nice intersects, 3 to 7 meter wide vein. They never assayed for gold though. So they were reporting silver grades, in the hundreds to 200 grams silver, which is consistent with the grades we see at our other veins, but they had no assays for gold. And we've subsequently found visible gold in that vein as well. So what we're thinking is that this is sort of a repeat of the southwest zone. And so, they're 2 parallel structures. They seem to have the same sort of silver characteristics from historical drilling. And one of them we know has really high grade gold. So we're assuming the other, we're going to be able to repeat some of those intersects. And so, we're in the same stratigraphy that hosts the mineralization at the adjacent Keno Hill mines that Hecla is currently running. So, that we can develop some serious ore shoots in those rocks. And we're looking to basically build out the resources on this.
Great, thank you for that overview. Sounds like there's lots of work imminently pending from that project. I know you mentioned there are a few other projects in the portfolio. Are you actively working on any of those at the moment?
Yeah, so what really, another thing that got us into this belt was, there's been some major discoveries made recently in this, what's now known as the Tombstone Gold Belt. It extends from Alaska all the way through the entirety of Yukon. On one side of us, we have Sitka Gold, who's drilling up a new resource at their RC project. We've got Snowline Gold out to the west, who's made a real tier 1 discovery at their valley target. And so in addition to Mount Hinton, we've acquired 10 other projects that are scattered throughout that belt. And so we've done a lot of the early stage work. All the targets were picked out using the same regional stream sediment signatures that we're able to find, the Snowline and the RC and other deposits in the area. Under previous operators, they've conducted a lot of the early stage geochemistry. So we've got these large geochemical and geophysical anomalies on targets that are in the right belt, the right age rocks, and now we're basically moving those towards target definition. So we've got crews working on a couple of those this summer as well, basically just refining drill targets, getting out and really investigating those intrusions on the ground, trying to find the areas of highest density of sheeted veining within those intrusions to develop drill targets on those. It, again, fits that reduced intrusion model. We look at Mount Hinton under that same lens as being, part of an intrusion-related system. We haven't found the granitic rocks on the Hinton to date, but what we have found, like I said, are these very large quartz veins. And when we look at other deposits that are in this belt, Pogo comes to mind as one that's in Alaska that, it's basically these very large quartz veins, and they're intrusion-related, that based on sort of the chemistry within them, you can determine where in the Earth's crust these have been formed. And so we've got actually a master's student out on the project right now in conjunction with Simon Fraser University, who's going to be doing a lot of extra age dating and whatnot on some of our structures to really put that geologic story in context for the Mount Hinton and really the broader Tombstone Gold Belt.
Great. Well, sounds like there's lots to be paying attention to. Richard, just to wrap up, can you tell us, in your view, why is now an interesting time for an investor to be paying attention to Trifecta Gold?
Well, we've recently restructured the company, so we only have 30 million shares out. We've got about 1.5 million in the treasury. That's enough to get us going on our programs there this summer. Basically, get everything done that we'd have planned. So super tight share structure. We're right at the discovery stage, so we're basically good. We're doing big step outs on these structures. So with repeated drill hits, we'll be able to demonstrate some serious number of ounces in these structures. And we're at a micro cap currently, and on top of that, the timing couldn't be better. I mean, you're at all-time high gold prices here in Canada. So, and well, the U.S. as well, obviously. But yeah, so I mean, basically that's it. We've got a road accessible project with demonstrated high grades, and we've got the metal pricing all coming together at the same time. So it's really that's the full trifecta. You put that together with our team who's found the deposits before, and really that's how we came up with the name initially. Let's put these targets that have the best potential to define high grade resources. We'll do it with a team that's done it before, and we'll time it when we've got the gold and silver price is moving in the right direction for us.
Great. Well, sounds like there's lots in store throughout the year. Looking forward to having more updates from you, Richard. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you very much for having me.